And what an honor and privilege to talk to one of our most versatile actors. Yes, she is a stalwart of the South African entertainment industry. Let's say welcome to Cintaine Schutte.
Hello, Hannes. What a privilege to be here. And thank you, Showmax, for showing my work. And actually, one day when I'm older, I can just press Showmax and say, hey, look, yeah, grandmother's work is on TV. Dis moet nie dit gebruik nie.
Hello, Cintaine. It's lovely to be here and to be able to have a chat with you, specifically about your incredible career and the amount of versatility you show in your career. I think an obvious question would be, how much do you love what you do?
I can't imagine my life without it. I'm so thankful that I can actually do something that I love, to wake up every morning and to know to go to set or to do a theatre play or a voice job or whatever I can do. Yeah, I'm just lucky. I'm really lucky that I can still do it.
I mean, it's an impressive resume. Over 40 plays, 42 to be exact. We did our research.
You did?
Over 20 awards and nominations. And a quick count is, at present, 15 productions, TV shows and movies that you are involved in are available on Showmax.
Wow.
And it's a wide range of things, so I hope you don't mind if we have a bit of a chat. The first thing I think I would have to ask you is, and if you were to look back at your career, if you had to choose one character, whether it be from stage, film or television, to showcase your range and ability, who would it be? And is there a specific scene or situation that you would choose?
One favorite character of mine, just because we toured with the piece, The Seagull, the CMU, Anton Chekhov, and Christian Olwagen was the director. It was a very special journey because we did the theatre piece. I'm a big Chekhov fan, and to play the role of Masha was very challenging. She's very far removed from me, but I think every one of us has a bit of Masha in us. And it was quite special to tour with the whole piece to all the festivals, and then we ended with a run at the Baxter Theatre in Cape Town. And then we could make a film of it with the original cast in Hermanus, where my mother was born, and we actually, the whole movie was shot on the old yacht club, Hermanus, the old Hermanus Yacht Club, and it's actually a special story. My mother actually told me stories when she was 16, 17. She had parties there, and she had her first kiss there, and it was quite special to be there. But one specific scene in The Seagull, the movie, is where she is talking to the writer, and she's telling him, you know, if I can just forget about love and just move, if I marry with Simon Medvedenko, my life would be better. It's like this whole, it's human behavior. You try to trick yourself and what love can do to you. And I think that scene was so special. She's a very special character because I think one thing that my director told me is to never judge your character, never. Whatever role you're playing, you shouldn't judge your character, and that's a golden rule that I'll always carry with me. If we look at theatre, I did Mother Courage and Her Children, Bertolt Brecht play, so it was Moeder Moed en haar kinders, and I had to play the role of Katrin, and she can't speak, so I had to use my skills to be present in every moment. And Jerry Morfer-King, the great Jerry Morfer-King, he was our director, and he said, you might not have a spoken word in the play, but whenever the audience wants to know what's going on, or if they're lost in a scene or during the play, they should look at your character, and you should portray throughout your eyes and your physical movement and where you are, what's happening, and then they will know what's going on. So actually, you know, one morning I wake up and I think about, you know, as an actor, the characters stay with you. So one morning you wake up and you think about this character and you're like, wow, I missed that character. It was such a cool role to play. But yeah, pretty much. I
think for any piece of dramatic art to kind of really live, it's that idea that I think Pacino once said, that if he plays Richard III, in Richard III's mind, he's not the villain of the piece. He's the kind of hero. And that's truthfulness that you so successfully portray in a lot of the character work that I've seen you do. But it must have been an interesting adaptation from a play in a theatre, which is, you know, with the tangibility of an audience, versus then the same director, the same cast moving into filming it. Did you go through another rehearsal process, and was that a lot different in terms of how you prepared for the play? Taking something like The Seagull to film, was it a vastly different process in the preparation?
Well, as you know, the moment you set your foot on stage, you have to use your imagination to build the house where she lives in, the scenery, where are they? And then you walk onto set and you've got these mountains, these Oeverberg mountains in this house. So it's amazing because it's just a new level that your emotional landscape goes to as an actor. But Christian has his style of shooting sometimes is one take.
Yes.
So it was quite interesting to combine the theatre piece, because the scene might be 10 minutes and he might shoot the scene in one take in 10 minutes. So you as an actor, you're so stressed by the time the character is approaching you. Like, if I screw this up, we got to start again. But with the knowledge as a theatre actor, you also stay present. So it was, we had quite a lot of time to rehearse that. But it was quite a challenge. The weather was a challenge because a lot of the scenes are outside and the wind was blowing, or then the continuity isn't, you know. But we were there for a month. We did it. And as you also know, as an actor, you grow as a human being. So you can't just go, okay, I've got Masha in the bag. I've toured with her for a year. She's part of your flesh and bones, but you also grow as a human being. So you must take the knowledge that you have as Cintaine and apply it to your character. You can't just stop working.
What is your preparation process, whether it is for film or for theatre, in terms of, I mean, having worked with you previously, I know you're incredibly well prepared when you show up in the room. But where do you take your your position from? Is it first kind of discovering the character, the mannerisms, and embodying it, or do you prefer to work from the script and what that gives you in terms of subtext? And
well, I think sometimes if you look at my script, if it's theatre or film or TV, sometimes my script will be full of notes and some scripts might be empty. But my process is script analysis, all the clues are there. And I don't think you have an excuse anymore that you can't do your homework or research.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not an excuse. But I actually, once I saw an interview with Olivia Colman, and she just said sometimes she doesn't do any preparation like text analysis and script work. She just breathes and she just lives and in this character's mind, and she's present. She doesn't have to overthink it. And then you get some actors who really, they have to be so prepared, and you can't judge actors' processes, you know, and that's one thing that I've learned. So I can't take every process I have and copy and paste it, because sometimes the characters bring different things. But my one golden rule is, if you can play out of a very relaxed space, you can get you can do anything. So I try to be...
Neutrality means that you can divert to this side or to that side if necessary.
And how can you step onto a set relaxed or on a stage relaxed? Be prepared. And I also sometimes find 99% of the work is at home or however you prepare for the role. And the 1%, I know it sounds silly, but is on set, or because you have to do all the work.
Well, I suppose, going back to The Seagull, someone like Christian Olvach, who works with such a very specific and set up aesthetic, I mean, do you find something like the costuming and the set itself immediately puts you in that space, and then, you know, that's also a contribution to kind of being able to step into the character on that moment of the word action being called, kind of?
Yeah, I think it differs. Sometimes I have a motto I say to myself, or a mantra. Sometimes it's rolling my cigarette for Masha. Sometimes it's while I'm in the chair. It really differs. I try to keep it fresh because sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if that gimmick, look, all of us have our bag of tricks, but you can't rely on it every time.
you know, thinking about theatre and film and something like The Seagull, which is this classical work you referred to doing Brecht, you know, on stage, which is a more, you know, turn of the 20th century piece of work. And I mean, these days, attention span has become quite a valuable currency. So how do you think, as creators and as performers, do we compete for that currency? You know, if you were to think something like Showmax presents movies to people, you know, on a streaming basis, so it's immediately at their touch. But how do you almost ensure that you keep people's focus in this kind of takeaway culture?
Good scripts, good writing. And I think we should actually pay attention to put more money and attention to our writers, because they're gold. Your script is everything. I mean, and I really do think we have to support our writers. We have to give them more time to write, because that's the thing. Sometimes we shoot so fast and we don't have enough time to fix the script sometimes on the floor. So it's really, for me, the script. If you've got a good script, you can get anything right. But a bad script and not enough time, that's where the attention span sometimes.
I do want to talk a bit about genre. I mean, you are considered a great dramatic actress, but at the same time, and this is certainly in terms of stuff I've seen you do in theatre, you know, it's that tragic-comedy kind of vibe. You do have a very natural comedic ability as well. And it kind of crosses over a little bit. So it's almost like I want to ask, you know, the Tannie in the shop, which character of yours does she remember best, and why do you think that is? Is it that, you know, that kind of crossover thing, you know, you're an endearing character, or, you know, it's because you're the evil vixen or whatever, you know?
That's an interesting question. I think especially now with Showmax, if you think about streaming and Showmax, they are offering you quite a lot of genres. And I hope that will break the wall for the Tannie in the shop. That it's not only the funny Cintaine in the Castile, but that she can see a lot of actors in different roles, a lot of directors, a lot of writers, a lot of crew, different genres. I don't know what the Tannie sees me as, but I hope that if she flicks through all my work, she can decide, because there's a bigger, you know, range of options. And that's what we actually should hope for. And I think that's what Showmax is getting right, because there's so much work. You also don't have an excuse to say, but this is my genre, I'm going to stick with it. Hopefully they are curious enough to flick through other genres and get to know themselves better, because I mean, we as storytellers, we have we really do have it's our work to tell stories and to actually just hold up the mirror for our audience, but they're also holding up the mirror, you know, for us, and we have to learn from each other. So
that interesting thing is audiences sometimes they reject things that are too close to home, and in some capacity, you know, but they still become kind of fans of it, and they almost don't know why they're intrigued. It's because it's that mirror directly, and then in another way, they almost, you know, they enjoy seeing something that is either superior to them or beneath them. You know, it's that two kind of extremes, especially if they're run-of-the-mill kind of people. Something like Feinstein, which is a legal drama, which is in its how manyth season?
Yeah, we had 3 seasons.
And hugely popular with the Afrikaans market. I mean, it must feel great to be a part of something that has this kind of artistic merit to it, with great storytelling and kind of, you know, serious subject matter, but it also invites you into people's homes, and it feels like you're part of their families. I mean, what do you enjoy about being part of something like that is episodic in nature, that 3 seasons in, you really know this character really well?
Look, I think our whole cast of season 1, 2, and 3, and the main cast, we were really lucky to work with someone like Louis Pretorius and Albert Snyman. They are really good writers. Talking about good writing, yes, it does have a commercial side to it, and that's why it works. But it also has, like you said, it's got a bit of drama, it's got a bit of comedy, a bit of lightness, and I was really lucky to play a character for 3 seasons and have really cool storylines. The challenge, as you know, as an actor, if you're shooting a series, you don't shoot it like chronologically. One day you're busy with episode 9 and 3 and 2, and the scenes are mixed up. So it is a challenge to just know where you're at. But then again, we had an amazing technical crew and production and director, and I think we should also not forget about them. Technical crews in our country are one of the best hard-working people you'll ever find. Without them, without these lights, without this camera, we won't be able to do our thing.
Certainly, if you work in theatre, and especially if you work, with kind of microphones, which has become a little bit more standard in modern theatre with larger venues and festival venues, which are noisy by design. Your biggest, ally, the guy that you do not piss off, is the sound guy, because he can just go.
He's your best friend.
And I think, but it should be a different kind of respect. It's not the crew is someone to fear. They are the greatest ally in making you look, your absolute best.
So actually, Feinstein, it was so cool to get to every season, and it's you walk onto set and you just feel safe, because the crew is solid gold. And it was amazing. I really think when you watch your Showmax series, know that the crew, they're amazing.
I do want to talk a little bit about some of the comedic stuff that you've done, like Full 101, which is one of your first television roles, wasn't it? And it's set in a kind of a philosophy faculty within a university. Then there was Die Kasteel, Soos Gister, and short films as well. And when you work on a project like this, it's fun and it's funny to the audience, but is the process or the kind of working on it equally fun? I mean, if you do something like Full 101, do you kind of feel like you're back at university? Your approach to comedy, that's almost what I want to ask about on a technical level, but also in terms of, and maybe everything you've done is, that kind of space you work in with cast and crew and everything,
Look, the thing is, if you shoot something like Full 101 or all the things, you spend a lot of time with these people, so you get to know yourself in different ways. But what was really interesting about Full 101, it was my first series. I was shit scared and I didn't know what I was doing, but the team was amazing. And what was really cool, they had like a pump line. What?
Line pimping.
Punchline pimping. It's a lot of P's. Punchline pimping, and what that was, you would sit around a table with the writers, the director, and a few actors, main actors, and you would go through all the scripts and you would go, this is not working. Is this funny? Think about something else.
Then you've got kind of an audience. I mean, that's what's difficult about comedy. Would you agree? Is the fact that you're shooting something, but and when you're doing a stage play, you hear them laugh. And the laugh kind of feeds the rhythm and the time. But if you're shooting something, you don't necessarily hear the laugh. Do you find that kind of process where you're around a table with people, and if they are laughing, then at least you get an idea, that's how you do the line, that's how you approach it.
I mean, you as a writer know that as well. Like, it was really awesome to be part of that process, because I also had a say in it, and I would say, I don't think my character would say that. I don't think that's funny. I don't think that's the way she would talk. So that was a cool process to be part of, because the moment you're on set and you're doing your thing, you've been through this whole process, through all these scripts, and you try to secure it and not try to make it funny, try to make it honest as possible, fitting in with this world of people. That's why I love The Office, I would love to be part of something like that.
That's an interesting question. What is the kind of television programming that you love to watch?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wish I could be part of something like Parks and Rec and The Office, because it's I think it's very difficult. I mean, I think it must be very difficult, because some people think to do comedy you should be funny. No, you shouldn't. You should just play. Shouldn't try to be funny.
Once again, if it's written funny, it'll come across funny. If it's shot funny,
Exactly.
If it's truthful.
And I've really looked at myself sometimes. People always ask me, do you look at your work? when I was younger, it was quite awkward and weird, but something like Feinstein, because we did the first season and then we heard about season 2 and 3, we're going to shoot back to back, and I was like, I can't even remember what my character did. So I had to go back to the work and look at what I was doing.
You shot a beautiful real-life wedding video that looks better than the wedding scene from the Seagull, certainly in terms of the circumstances, you know. So I mean, and your husband is not only involved in this industry, he's one of our most celebrated actors as well. So you know, we have to, dis nou die skinder the titbit. You know. You found each other within the industry while you were students, am I not mistaken?
No,
tell us the story of how you and Carel Nel ended up together.
So I did my first professional theatre piece, and well, I thought it's the piece, I thought it's the beginning and the end of my career, but we started rehearsing on the piece, and I remember at our first rehearsal the producer was there and the director was there, and I was so nervous, and I was so, look, in Afrikaans I'm a pliggie, like you said, I do my homework and I'm super psyched, and this is my first professional play, and here comes Carel Nel, and I'm like, this is the tallest, skinniest man I've ever seen, and he's going to play my love interest, okay. And we sit down and we do a read-through of the play, and the producer asks, so what genres do you like and what characters do you want to play? And Carel, after 5 minutes, is like, are we done? I think we're done with the work. I have a snoek to braai at my home. And I'm like, is he just going to leave, he's just going to go home and he's going to braai a snoek? And I thought, he is so unprofessional. I've got to spend 3 weeks with this guy. And then, yeah, what? I fell in love with him. And it's amazing. We've done a lot of work together, and I really do trust him with my life. And it's really sometimes a blessing to be married to an actor. He understands my world, he understands the long hours, and he just understands me.
Yeah, I mean, you've been together in productions such as Hum, Extra Medium, Boere Christmas, Feinstein as well. You did our research.
Yes.
Is your approach to things different? Do you assist each other when you're preparing for different things? I mean, is there even a little bit of competitiveness in terms of, you know, who's busiest, who's getting the nicer parts?
No, look, I'm Carel's biggest fan, and I think vice versa. But it's very interesting. If I do theatre with him, I'm like, listen, we live together, let's just run lines. We've got the opportunity. He's like, no, I want to keep it fresh. And I'm like, but we've got it's the same with stepping on set. It's so weird, Hannes. It feels like I don't know him. He's like, he's so professional. Like with Boere Christmas, it was the first and the last time he'll be playing my brother. We were brother and sister, and I would make jokes. I'm like, hi, Boetie, kom, I gaan stop it. And he wouldn't talk to me. He's super professional on set. Like I would make jokes in between, you know, setting up or, you know, between takes. I would say, hey, and I want to, and he's like, no, he's very like bubble. He's very professional. He's one of the most professional actors I've worked with.
I think one thing I've established in talking to you is that the importance that professionalism has for you as well, in terms of preparation and, you know, how you handle yourself on set. Yeah. As we're getting to the end of this kind of quick interview, I mean, it's an easy thing to go, so what's next for Cintaine? But I mean, our business doesn't always allow it. So, in a kind of utopian scenario, what would you describe as your ideal project in terms of the character you're playing or the style or whatever? What would, if you could speak to the people producing the big stuff, what would be your ideal, perfect project?
I am a huge fan of Fleabag. I mean, I'm obsessed with Fleabag. If I could do something like that, if I could get enough confidence to write my own work, and we mustn't forget about mentorship, if I can ask writers to assist me and help me and write something like that and produce also a series or a film with a lot of women, no offense, but with a strong female cast, and maybe, who knows, dabble with directing some of the scenes we all like, collaboration. That would be one of my biggest dreams. But if I can also work for a theatre group from 9 till 5 and just do theatre, I'd also be happy.
I think we leave it there. Thank you very much, Cintaine,
for
giving us your time in between theatre that you're doing at the moment.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for chatting to us, and we'll see you on Showmax.
Thank you.